Hi, Silas here. Just a short video on thoughts of the things you say and the things you do and the connection between the two of them. I'm up here on the East River. I just came out to see the sunrise. It's my birthday today, turning 34. I thought, hey, I'm going to come out and at least for the day, I'm going to at least see the sunrise and then catch a sunset. So I'm going to get this on the East River, and then at night I'm going to go to the Hudson and catch the sunset. Now, just saying you're going to do that. A few days ago, a friend of me asked, what am I going to do on my birthday? I don't normally celebrate birthdays that much, but for me, this is kind of one thing. I just said, okay, let me do that. So I'm kind of sticking to that. So when you put something in your mind and you say, this is what you're going to do, if you just keep it to yourself, that's one level. Now, if you share it with somebody whose opinion you value, I think that's more of a reinforcement, let alone just sharing it with anyone. And part of making these videos is to share these thoughts out there, put them out there so you can get called out if you don't actually follow through with some of these things. Now, one of the things that's got me thinking on this birthday, turning 34, is sometime back when I was younger, this is over decades ago, I think, not decades, okay, probably could have been in college. I remember thinking, looking at the world and thinking that if by 33 something major hadn't changed, I was either gonna kill myself or do something. You'd say these things, and you'd say these things. People say things that they take light of, that probably shouldn't be taken light of. To say something like that is kind of. It was very indicative of a really negative place I was in my life that I didn't really realize until later on. Now I'm 33, and I mean 33, not 33 anymore, depending on when I was born in this day, because I don't know exactly what time of the day I was born on August 1st. But anyway, so now I'm turning 34, and definitely not dead. But that person who could say something like that, I think, is completely gone. That person might as well not be here anymore. So in a way, there is kind of a new person from that time. And then, of course, there's another cool thing about how your body actually cycles through its cells. Every 7 years you get brand new cells. I don't know if that applies to brain cells as well, but pretty much like your bones, everything, your skin rotates. Rambling off the topic here. But another declaration I made about my life earlier than that was that I thought, okay, I never want to be famous. I would never want to be well known. Never want to be in a situation where you couldn't just walk out like right now. Okay, of course, there's no one out here, but you get to a situation where you do something where people know who you are and might make assumptions of who you are or judgments without actually getting to know you on a personal basis. Now, where was that coming from? That was probably coming from lack of self-confidence in myself and in the things that I was doing. Now, when you put that in your mind and you say, okay, yes, I don't want to be known by people. I don't want to do anything that could possibly have you be famous. Not that I'm saying I'm going to be super famous, but just in general, isn't that going to limit you from the certain things that you do? You think, I don't want people to know me or think they know me. If you're avoiding even putting yourself out there for somebody to even think they know you, how many people are you avoiding? What kind of way are you setting yourself up to not actually even be known by the people who could get to know you? You start making decisions, you start thinking, okay, maybe I'm not going to share this thought. Maybe I'm not going to talk about this in public. Maybe I'm not going to follow this route that might get me to a point where more people get to hear about me or get to be influenced, or it changes who you are. Now, a third thing that I said from earlier on was one of my good friends in high school. I remember we used to be pretty close, and we just had a conversation. I think we were talking about how we're either going to do something really awesome or really bad to the world, but we're not going to be basic. We're not just going to be your average people. We're not just going to do like basic jobs. And I remember the guy went on and he did some pretty big things, was doing music for MTV2 and things like that. And we had lost touch. We were friends in high school, so that was before Facebook and things like, and the social media was as big as it is today. But I remember trying to get back in touch with him after I felt I was slacking in my life. I felt I was being held back. I wasn't really doing as much, and I thought he was doing a lot better. And I kind of reached out to him, and it didn't really go as well as planned, but that was a point when I was realizing I had these ideas when I was in high school. Then it got to the point where I was thinking, I don't want to be famous, or I don't want to do things. I didn't have enough trust in myself. And then came past that, and then around that time with that not trust in myself, I was also thinking, if by 33 something hasn't changed, if I haven't really affected the way the world is, I was uncomfortable with my personal self. I was uncomfortable with the things I saw in the world, and I thought, okay, by that time, if it was by 33 and I hadn't done much, it would be game over for me. You know, either change the world or quit the world. And all that time, what was I doing to change myself, change the world, change my world? Because that's pretty much, it's pretty much the only thing you have control of. The most thing you have control of is your own world, your own perception, your own self, what you do in that world. And part of that is what you tell yourself, what you tell others, what you plan on doing, what you actually do. So, another thing, thinking about these birthdays things, you turn 34 on your birthday. You know, you turn that year on your birthday. When you're born, you're, I guess, 0 years old, and then you turn 1. You turn 1 after you've lived that time. You know, now when you turn 34, it's after you've done that year. You know, I used to wonder, why do they have that number? Why aren't you 1 year old from being born? But no, that notification, that identification of the number that you are says this person has been alive for X number of years. A birthday kind of marks what you've done in the past, not necessarily what you're going to do in the future. So yeah, kind of petered off at the end there, but just a little short video about how setting up certain things in your mind, making certain statements, they shouldn't be really ignored, because some of them actually do play a big part in what you are, who you are, what you're going to do. And I got some pretty big plans for these next couple of years, this next couple of days. I'm going to try to get like at least a daily video out, challenging myself. Okay, at least 3 videos, at least a video every 3 days. But I'll try to get a daily video out for at least 33 days. I like the number 33. I'm going to plan a few things around 33. I'm going to have some merchandise coming out. It's going to be a t-shirt store. So every day I'm going to release a new shirt, new poster, new design, talk about that in the videos, release some videos, and just try to get living. If this whole thing of 33 was true, then let's see what past 33 is going to look like. And so, as you can see, sun's up. You can feel the heat from the sun coming off. And there's one more thing I was thinking about. The name of this channel, Dyingalive. You know, when I was thinking about it, kind of the opposite of the Living Dead. You know, the zombie thing they talk about. And the reason I went with that name is I think a lot of people are dying alive. I mean, we are actually dying alive because our body's kind of degenerating as we go. But most people are dying alive. I think part of the reason the zombie thing is so famous or so popular or whatnot is people kind of fear that and have some kind of connection to it, and they see it, they know it somehow, where we are spending our lives dying alive, focusing too much on the deaths or the failures or the ends, instead of actually getting the life part of it going on. And as I said before, when you set up certain boundaries, when you focus too much on what you can't do and the end that's going to come, sometimes focusing on those things actually does put you in a situation where you're dying alive. But I still like the name. That was just a little kind of background behind that name and adding into what I was saying. And of course I said I'm going to have more pictures of beautiful sunrise, East River. And yeah, thanks. Bye.